So one of the last things that I've been really eager to replace on this bike are the rear turn signals. They stick out quite a bit and just don't really go with the rest of the flow of the body lines. So I've been looking at a couple of different options, and what I've landed with is this TST Industries smoke replacement that has LEDs that also function as the turn signal. And there's actually lots of different modes that you can program to have it swipe left and right or just blink. And at the same time, I also ordered their relay to support the LED turn signals so that you don't get that fast blink that you see on a lot of bikes and cars when they don't properly change the relay, because the system thinks that the bulb is out and there's more voltage going through it than it should, and it's blinking faster than you want it to. So actually this kit came with resistors that you can wire in to, I think, achieve the same effect, but this relay was a much simpler installation, so I went ahead and just bought it at the same time. It also got me up to the price to get the free shipping, so overall it was worth it for me. I think this will be a pretty straightforward install. I imagine it's going to require taking off the seats and maybe some of the cowling to get this out, and then I believe the electronics are all plug and play, but we'll get it apart and check it out. So inside the passenger seat, you can see my setup's actually pretty clean. I don't have the servo mechanism anymore. I replaced it with the Servo Buddy, and I also have my DynoJet Power Commander 5 installed here. It's just velcroed in that we can pull out. So I need to start removing pieces here to figure out how to remove it. It looks like there's a couple of bolts here, and I probably am going to need to remove part of the rear fairing here to get to the other bolts that secure it, because it looks like there's a couple more bolts up here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out these bolts here to see how much it loosens it, but I'm going to also start to take off these bolts here to separate this a bit so that we can see what else we need to get out to get the light, to get access to that light. All right, I was going to try to get away with not having to take these all the way off. It looks like I can just get access to most of the bolts that I need to lower it and remove it, but the thing that I won't be able to get access to is the power cable for the light itself. It's right here underneath this plastic piece. So I'm going to go ahead and finish removing the fairings. I think it's just a matter of popping. There's a rivet here and a rivet here, and otherwise I already have the bolts, and then I think it just pops off. I've already taken off these side panels before, so I know that these are just popped in. So if I just pop those off, I think these will just slip off as well. So that just pops off. There's two mushroom type, or there's one mushroom type connector on this, and there's another one on, mine is carbon fiber, on the stock bike is a black plastic. And then there's a mushroom mount connector in the back here that goes into the slot. So there's a hook in the back that needs to come out first, and after that it just pops off laterally. And then just little plastic rivets that pop out. And then this comes off. So the connector that I couldn't get access to with all those panels on are right here. There's a little plastic rivet that I just need to pop off to get access to it. All right, so now that's released. And then back up here, there's two black Phillips screws to remove. And then this piece comes off. And then I think we're almost there. There's another plate here that's holding in the light. There's two silver Phillips screws and a bracket. I just need to root out the cable that I disconnected. All right, and it's free. All right, so before I put them on the bike, here are the two side by side. This was the original one, and here's the new one with the grommets from the old one put in place. Overall, the shape is obviously the same. This has interestingly defined ridges to also help separate the fact that there's brake and turn signals. The ridges also give it kind of a Darth Vader-ish look, which I think is pretty cool. But anyway, it's back in now, so the installation process is just going to be reverse of removal. I need to get the clamp back on here, the nut plastic shroud with the two screws here, the two screws that we removed earlier on, the main ones that hold the light in here, and then the rest of the shroud, and also need to wire up the wiring harness here. So the black piece goes back into the original piece we removed for power for the brake light, and then this is going to be left and right turn signals. The factory lights are going to be removed, so I've pulled those off and they'll go back into the bike, and we'll be taking these off here in a second. Another benefit of having pulled off all these plastic fairings that I hadn't removed when I installed my Power Commander 5 is that it gave me a chance to properly route it through the frame of the bike. Previously, I'd actually had it coming outside of the frame and then just underneath this fairing. But fortunately, there's enough space underneath this part, and then I just had to remove the seat latch here to slip it underneath this part, so that now all of the cabling routes within the actual frame of the bike, which is a much cleaner solution. I wasn't happy about the way that I did it previously. I didn't realize that it was as easy as having removed those fairings to get access to being able to slot it through those parts. But just kind of as a go back, if you're installing the Power Commander 5, be sure to pull off those parts of the fairings, then it's very easy to route it through so that all of the cabling routes, again, within the frame of the bike. All right, that looks much cleaner. But before I start it up, I still need to install that relay. And actually, let me try it out. I think right now, if I turn it on, it's going to be blinking real fast for the check. So without the relay, it's almost like a strobe effect, and it's actually happening on the front as well. So let me get that relay installed, and then I think this install is done. So I believe the relay that I need access to is underneath the battery. So to remove the battery, I need to remove this battery clamp, which consists of two 10mm bolts on either side of this here, and then I believe it's just this 10mm bolt here. So I'm going to pull those off, remove the battery, and hopefully have access to that relay to swap it out. So with those bolts out, the bracket lifts up and I can... Alright, I didn't want to remove all the connections from the battery, but the relay is right here. Not sure if that's showing or not, it's this black relay. So I'm going to pop that out, pop the new one in, and then set all this back together. Let's see if I can actually just pull it out. It looks like there's just a... There we go. There's this little rubber holder holding it in, but this is the one that we're replacing, and when we get the new one. Here's the new one, and I believe it's actually adjustable. On the website it says that you can change the flash rate, but that it's supposed to put it back more to the standard one, which sounds fine for me for now. So let's see. I'm going to pull off this rubber connector so that I can reuse it on this one. And it's just a push connector to remove. And there we go, that's in. And actually, before I connect this, let's go back to the back of the bike and make sure that the flashing works at the rate we want it to. So the flashing's still pretty strobe-like, but the fronts now are blinking at the rate that they used to. So I assume this is one of the power modes, or one of the selection modes. Let me see actually if I can, through here, adjust them. There we go. So if I want just standard blink, what else is there? This is kind of that Audi sweeping right to left look, which I think is the one that I'm going to stick with. And then this is that strobe effect, the flashing. And actually, these are cycling through. There's also different brake functions, so let's see what they're on now. That looks like it's standard brake. This is the swoop with flashing brake, or let's say a triple flash brake and then hold. And that one braking is constant flash. I think that's a little much. So I think actually the one I liked the most was going to be this one with the Audi tight swoop and the flash and hold.